Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Jonathan Cooper Guerra, and welcome to the first ever Scoop with Coop on YouTube. And today, I just want to take a look at Mississippi State's schedule for the 23-24 season, since I previously covered Ole Miss's on the Shark 102.3 app and radio station. Make sure to check that out. So I will admit I haven't kept much attention to State in this off season, so if I do get something wrong, I apologize. So in week 1, they take on Southeast Louisiana, which Mississippi State looks to start off this year against Southeast Louisiana State. The Lions are currently coming off the Southland Conference record of 5-1 and a run into the FCS playoffs, though State will probably beat them behind the arm of Rogers. The most important part of the season is to see what new head coach Zach Arnett will do for Rogers. We've watched him become one of the best passers in the SEC. With the late Mike Leach as his head coach, it's going to be interesting to see how Arnett uses Rogers and if he'll change up Leach's patented air raid offense. Anyways, week 1 standard SEC win unless a catastrophe happens. So State starts off the season 1-0. Now in week 2, they play Arizona. The Wildcats go to Starkville in week 2, which State will probably win. Arizona wasn't what you would call a good team last year, failing to make a bowl game. State also defeated them last year at Tucson, so I'm going to go ahead and say Mississippi State wins behind the arm of Rogers and an improved defense. Bulldogs 2-0. Now week 3, they play LSU. State plays LSU at home this year, so that plays into State's advantage a little bit, but with this LSU team, I don't think State's going to win. I don't think State has enough talent or the coaching to beat LSU this year. So State starts off 2-1. Not bad, not terrible. Then they play week 4 really early to be having these games at South Carolina. Woo! Bulldogs make the way to Willie Bryce in week 4, looking to take on an electric South Carolina team who had a great year last year, winning at Clemson and dropping 63 points on Tennessee. With Beamer having more experience in coaching, I think South Carolina outcoaches the Bulldogs in a highly competitive and close game. State 2-2. Week 5 is Alabama. Come on. Saban has made it routine of beating Mississippi State mercilessly. Even with some of the questions on Alabama's roster, like QB, lack of star wide receiver, I still think Bama wins by 2-3 scores. State falls 2-3. Now week 6, they play Western Michigan at home. Schedule gods have finally given favor to the Bulldogs after losing 3 in a row, and they get to play a directional school midseason. The Broncos should put up a fairly good offensive fight against the Bulldogs, with hiring former Louisville OC Lance Taylor as the new head coach and hiring Billy Kosh as the school's new offensive coordinator, who was formerly at Richmond, but Bulldogs outpowered the directional school and go 3-3 on the year. Now week 7, perfect time for a bye week right here, and the bye week is perfectly in mid-season for this team, just in time for back-to-back road games at Arkansas and Auburn. Woo. Definitely not ideal for State fans, but I believe this is just to prove we can get to a bowl game to stay competitive year for Arnett, but this is a very good time to rest midseason considering the SEC West powerhouses of LSU and Alabama are done with. So go to week 8 at Arkansas. I think State gets the win. Playing at Arkansas is never fun, but I think the Bulldogs managed to squeeze it out here. Both teams coming in with fairly new coaching staffs, but I think that playing at Alabama before this drains the Razorback defense, and State manages to exploit it and get a tough win in Fayetteville. State gets back over 500, being 4-3. Now week 9 in Auburn, I think they win. Hugh Freeze is 3-2 against Mississippi State historically, but I think this game will make him 3-3. They just get off playing Ole Miss at home, and that high-powered Ole Miss offense will most likely drain Auburn's defense due to momentum that they have in this 2-game win streak. I think State manages to beat Hugh Freeze, and State gets 2 wins over 500, coming 5-3. Now week 10, play Kentucky. Another win. The Bulldogs, this Bulldogs team will be hot and is ready for a fight. So now they play the Wildcats, and finally being back in Starkville, and once again, I think State is in the right place at the right time. Kentucky is coming off what is most likely a loss to a high-powered Tennessee offense. Thus, the Dogs take advantage and manage to get revenge from last year to be bowl eligible and be 6-3. Now week 11 at Texas A&M, and I say we got an upset in Aggie land, as the Bulldogs are once again in the right place at the right time. The Aggies are coming off a game in Oxford, playing that explosive Kiffin offense, and due to that and the Bulldogs' momentum, I think State narrowly wins it in College Station, going 7-3. Now week 12, not really a basic SEC late season match, but we're going to have Southern Miss traveling to Starkville, which I think State will win. Golden Eagles go to Starkville in week 12 to take on what looks like to be a red-hot Bulldog team and get a loss. Probably one of the more interesting games of the week, SEC versus Group of 5 Classic. I expect a big game out of Golden Eagle running back Frank Gore Jr., but I doubt it'll be enough to win. This should be a fun and exciting game, but the Bulldogs keep the hot streak alive, going 8-3 for the home closer. All right, week 13, Egg Bowl. Call me a homer, but State finally loses here. I think whoever is QB1, whether that's Dart or Sanders being healthy and rested, after most likely benching them in week 12 against ULM, with the Rebels' new defense led by Pete Golding, I think they shut down Rodgers, and this will definitely be an exciting game for sure, and will probably cause a lot of Thanksgiving arguments, but that's what this game is for. Thus, State finishes off the season 8-4. So, in closing, probably not what y'all suspected from this, but I think Mississippi State will be a sneaky good team next year. Then again, I may be hugely wrong, but I think State may be able to make some noise when it comes to the New Year's Six or later bowl games. If I was a State fan, I'd actually be very cautious this year, but I think there's a lot of potential for them to succeed. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for today. Make sure to tune in to the Scoop With Coop podcast on Fridays at 11 a.m. on the Shark 102.3 radio station, Shark 102.3 app and website, or wherever podcasts are available like Spotify, Amazon, and other streaming sites. So I'd like to say thank you all for watching, and Jesus loves y'all.